He was out there earlier, guys.
So I open your mouth. Open your mouth. Stick your tongue out.
So Kevin Gates has spit in a woman's mouth, but before we go any further about whether this is witchcraft or a ritual, let's see what spirit he is operating under. Now, let me put a disclaimer out there. Through listening to Kevin Gates interviews and researching him, I don't dislike him. I ain't gonna hold you, I kind of like Kevin Gates. I feel like he's hilarious. Secondly, he's emotional, meaning he has a heart. He has to put on this tough guy exterior to kind of protect him from getting hurt. That's what I mean, emotional. And he feels, and he's very passionate, which it kind of reminds me of myself. So, on top of the fact that I do see that he has a lot of anger and rage that he deals with and has dealt with and is continuing to deal with, it's kind of disheartening to see the amount of anger and rage in his eyes. You can tell that he's misunderstood. You can tell that he's been severely hurt, deeply hurt, to the point where he has to now put on this exterior for others as kind of like a repellent and a way to navigate his hurt. But I like him. I like Kevin Gates. What I also see is that, he's searching for something. As we all are, I do believe that we are spiritual beings housed inside of a meat suit, like a human meat earthly suit. And so it's natural and it's common and it's within our nature for us to want to know our creator. Just like when you have like a baby who's an orphan, it's natural and it's normal for that orphan child to figure out and find out who their family is, who their mother is, who their father is. And so that's what I believe about human beings. We as human beings navigating through this earthly plane, I believe that we are, because we don't have any remembrance of, because God said that he knew us before we were constructed in our mother's womb, meaning that we dwelt with him before this life. And because we don't have any remembrance of that, just like an orphan baby or an orphan child don't remember their parents at birth, we have a want and a need and this zeal to figure out who our father is, who our parents are, our spiritual parents are. And so I do believe that he is searching. Unfortunately, I don't think that he found the truth because of his practices that he's detailed, that he's involved in. And, it's kind of disheartening because he wants to so bad find out and find truth, but yet he hasn't found it yet. But I do believe that if he continues to search as diligently as he is searching, he will find it.
Yeah. I've been to heaven before, or what people call heaven.
Describe what that's like.
The scariest thing in the world. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. And the gravitational pull, when you there, it forces your face on the ground. Every head shall bow and every tongue shall confess.
Yes.
We not talking about that Jesus Christ shit. I ain't talking about that shit, that Bible shit. That's bullshit. I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about really seeing God. Like, I'm not talking about Jesus Christ being God. I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about when you sit with your creators.
Do you believe in having to go through Jesus in order to get to Christ? You don't subscribe to those philosophies.
No, I believe in God.
Right. So
I don't believe in all that old extra shit. I just believe in God. I know what I saw. I know what I see.
Based on that video and based on scripture, 1 John 4:1-6, it reads, "Beloved, Do not believe every spirit, but test the spirits to see whether they are from God. For many false prophets have gone out into the world. By this you know the Spirit of God. Every spirit that confesses that Jesus Christ has come in the flesh is from God, and every spirit that does not confess Jesus is not from God. This is the spirit of the Antichrist, which you heard was coming, and now is in the world already. Now, based on this scripture, we know that he is not of God because he denied Christ as being sent from Yahweh, the creator God, the one and true living God. So he is by biblical definition a false prophet. Because of this, we know that the spirit that's operating in him is not of God. What is it of? Christ makes it clear that any spirit that denies Yahweh is a spirit that is antichrist. 1 John 2:22 states, "But you have been anointed by the Holy One, and you all have knowledge. I write to you not because you do not know the truth, but because you know it, and because no lie is of the truth. Who is the liar but he who denies that Jesus is the Christ? This is the Antichrist, he who denies the Father and the Son. No one who denies the Son has the Father. Whoever confesses the Son has the Father also." So, the spirit that's operating in Kevin Gates is clearly a spirit that's antichrist because he denied Christ, right? And antichrist literally just mean, according to the Strong's Concordance, antichrist comes from the Greek word antichristos, which means an opponent of the Messiah. Antichrist, the adversary of the Messiah. Well, who opposes God? We know the devil opposes God. He was the one that rebelled against God. He was kicked out of heaven. He brought a third of angels with him. He tempted Christ to commit suicide. When Christ fasted for 40 days in the wilderness, he said, "Jump off the building so that the angels can catch you." And then Christ then said, "It is written that we shouldn't tempt the Lord." So the devil is known to be an adversary of God who opposes God. Now, what exactly opposes God? Now, we know that the spirit that is operating through Kevin Gates is that it's antichrist. Antichrist just means opposes God. So there's a spirit that's operating in him that opposes Christ, that opposes God. We know that the adversary and the one who opposes God is the devil, which then means that there's a demonic force working within Kevin Gates, right? So what exactly opposes God? We know that the devil opposes God, but what does the devil do that's operating in us that makes us oppose God? Galatians 5:17. "This I say then, walk in the Spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. For the flesh lusteth against the Spirit, and the Spirit against the flesh. And these are contrary, the one to the other, so that ye cannot do the things that ye would. But if ye be led of the Spirit, ye are not under the law. Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulations, wrath, strife, seditions, heresies, envyings, murders, drunkenness, revelings, and such like, of the which I tell you before, as I have also told you in time past, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of God." Okay, so we know that the spirit that's operating in him is Antichrist. Antichrist opposes God. According to Galatians, things that opposes God are works of the flesh, because it says right here, "For the flesh lusteth against the Spirit, and the Spirit against the flesh." Against, meaning opposition, meaning work against. So the works of the flesh is idolatry and witchcraft, lasciviousness, uncleanness, adultery, and fornication, right? Okay. So if these are all the things that are working inside of Kevin Gates, right? Why is witchcraft the work of the flesh? According to 1 Samuel 15:23, "For rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry." And rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, right? So rebellion is to go against, oppose. to be an adversary of, or to oppose, to rebel. Antichrist spirit, because the Antichrist is not necessarily a person in the end times. The Antichrist is a spirit that's not of God, that is anti-God. So a person who has the spirit of Christ says Christ is Lord. A person who has an antichrist spirit says Christ is not Lord. If Christ is Lord, and one who believes has the spirit of Christ, and one who does not believe does not have the spirit of Christ, that makes it the spirit that's operating in that person that does not have the spirit of Christ an antichrist spirit. An antichrist spirit opposes God. Who opposes God? The devil. What are the works that make manifest that a person is operating under an antichrist spirit? Witchcraft. What is witchcraft? Rebellion against God. So Kevin Gates, he's not the Antichrist. That's not what I'm saying. He's not the Antichrist. But he does have a spirit that is Antichrist operating through him, which is the demonic spirit. One of the works that make manifest from the demonic spirit that's working inside of him is anger, rage, witchcraft, idolatry, disbelief that Christ is Lord. He said that, and he's made that very known. So this is what we know. Kevin Gates denies God. Kevin Gates, because he denies God, he is an enemy of God. Everyone that is created in the world is not a child of God. In order to be made a child of God, you have to believe that Christ is God. Period. Number 3, Kevin Gates is operating under a spirit that's antichrist. And number 4, Kevin Gates practices witchcraft. Now, there have been many interviews where Kevin Gates make it known that he's not a Christian, he is a Muslim, and he does not practice voodoo, but he does practice Native American spirituality, because according to him, that's what he identifies as. He states that, yeah, he has roots in Africa, but his forefathers ran this land, which is America. So therefore, he identifies more with his American or Native American ancestry than he does his African heritage and ancestry.
Should I say it?
Go ahead, man. Like, you're on this
Yes.
journey right now.
A lot of
Speak on
people
it.
identify with Africa and things of that nature, and that's cool. But my grandfather hunted these lands in Native America, and my children are gonna hunt these lands. And I identify more with the indigenous people of America than I do with my roots from Africa. Because I have roots. I'm deeply rooted in Africa. Also, I have roots there. But my roots are here. This is where I was raised. This is where I grew up in America. I didn't grow up over there. So I don't have a longing or desire to go, that's not home for me. This is home.
Right.
Like I say, my grandfather stepped in these trenches. My children gonna step in these trenches.
Right.
And that's just where we at with it right now. I was dealing with some Native American people and some chiefs, and they just picked me. First, he asked me, was I Indian? I was like, I probably got something in me or something. He said, when I'm looking, he said, you really look like our tribe. So he was telling me he wanted to show me some things. So I started going sit with them. And the things that they told me and the way that they look at the earth and the way that they have a respect for Mother Nature and all of mankind, and just the old way, the ancient way of doing things, the way they could cure everything. Any disease you get, they could cure it holistically, with natural medicines that come from the earth. Just the way that they respect the earth. They said the earth is our mother, and she was here long before us, and she'll be here long after we leave. So one of the ceremonies I did, I couldn't eat for 4 days. I didn't eat or drink anything for 4 days. I had to stay outside, like in a little hole. He said, if it rain on you, it's meant to rain on you. If you get cold, it's meant for you to get cold. If it get hot, it's meant for you to get hot. If bugs bite you, they know where you need to be bit to release energy. They was just telling me everything that's gonna happen happening for a reason. So after the initiation, I did it. Most people don't even make it past the first couple hours. Right. So after that, we did some other ceremonies. I can't speak about them because they're very sacred. And they gave me a golden eagle feather. You can't even have a golden eagle feather unless you've been gifted a golden eagle feather by a chief. You have to be indigenous. You can't even walk around with it. It's a federally protected bird. Wow. You cannot walk around with an eagle feather. So when you see me with that eagle feather, like I earned that. I would die for that.
because it's the bravest, strongest, holiest path that you can take. You can't drink alcohol and have an eagle feather in your head. And it's just a reminder for me to be conscious that I sit high, but I look low.
Right.
I fly high. It keep you conscious because that feather never supposed to hit the ground. Like the way I take care of the feather, like even when you clean it with a little water, you got to be so gentle with it. It's very strong, but it's very fragile at the same time. And that's just how life is. It stands for wisdom, it stands for intuition, freedom, strength, courage, hope, resilience, healing, vision, sexual power. It's just all of those things encompassed in that eagle.
That feather fire.
Nah, the feather's fire. Like I was about to check to see if the feather was real or is it synthetic?
It's real.
It's synthetic, right?
These are federally protected birds. These feathers, you never saw these before because they come from a nighthawk.
A nighthawk.
These hawks, it's a hawk, but it come out at nighttime. And I was blessed to be able to be gifted with these. My eagle feather right here, this come from a golden eagle. I was gifted this by a chief.
Is that like some Native American stuff?
Yes, sir.
Put me on the game.
The eagle feather is symbolic. It's the bravest, holiest, strongest path you could take in life. And that's like when you offer me what you offer me out there. I don't want to.
It's a little alcohol.
Okay, well, I'm not about to drink alcohol with this eagle feather in my head because it keep me conscious. And even though this eagle feather is very, very strong, I can't be playing on my phone and all that. I got to be present in a moment because it's very strong, but it's also very delicate and very fragile. I didn't eat anything or drink anything for 4 days, and I was gifted this feather after my initiation, and it was just beautiful. I would die for this feather right now today. It means so much to me. It's symbolic of my journey.
Is that like some ayahuasca type stuff? You ever heard about ayahuasca?
I know about ayahuasca. I just don't like that word. I like to call it Madre Ayahuasca.
What?
The mother. That's the holy, divine, feminine spirit, ayahuasca. The abuelita spirit is holy, very sacred.
Again, I feel it's remedial asking you. So break it down to me. Like
Have I ever experienced?
Yeah.
I have. I'm in a medicine. My tribe is a medicine tribe.
So you have a tribe that you're associated with?
Like I'm in a tribe. I'm a chief.
Really?
Yes, sir.
How does one become?
It was beautiful. I mean, they say all chiefs are born chiefs, but the thing with me was this is something that I ran from. I didn't want the responsibility of looking out for others. A chief just walk around, let's go to war. No, a chief gonna see what you need. And as being a chief, if I see what you need, I'm gonna aid and assist you. I'm gonna look over the whole tribe. It may be something that somebody got dealing with emotionally. I'm gonna aid and assist them with that. It may be something somebody dealing with mentally or psychologically. I'm gonna aid and assist them with that. When you a chief, it's a responsibility that supersedes all because you have to look out for your tribe.
So going back to him spitting in the woman's mouth, right? Now, because there is not a spirit of God operating in him, there is a spirit that's operating in him that made him spit in that woman's mouth. Everything is spiritual. Like I said, we are spiritual beings housed inside of a meat suit. Just like me being a Christian, everything that I do, it should be made manifest of the spirit that's working in me, which is the spirit of Christ. Everything that a person who does not have the spirit of Christ does, the works will be made manifest by the spirit that's operating in them. That's just how it is. Now, one of the spirits that's made manifest clearly in this man spitting in this woman's mouth was lasciviousness. Lasciviousness is the work of the flesh. If this man has an antichrist spirit operating within him, he's deep into witchcraft, deep into Native American spirituality. There's a deeper reason as to why that maybe he don't know, but there is still a deeper reason as to why this spirit will literally possess this man to spit in a woman's mouth. Now, Kevin Gates admits to being possessed. He admitted to being possessed, and he said that he's not possessed anymore, but we already know that only Christ can cast out demons and devils, because Christ made it very known that Beelzebub cannot cast out Beelzebub because a kingdom divided will not stand. So whatever means he thought that he went and casting this devil or demon out of him, it didn't work because it wasn't through the power of Christ. Yeah, he admits to being possessed. And whatever spirit is operating through him is that of witchcraft, which is what will possess him to spit in a woman's mouth.
In your previous shortcomings and like downfalls that were like either, you did things that may have gotten you in trouble, like do you attribute those moments, like those moments specifically to like things
Yes.
affecting
Yes,
how
sir.
you were moving. And
I was possessed.
yeah,
I was trying to die. I was possessed. Such a beautiful life. Such a beautiful soul. Look what you mean to the world. Why you want to die, Kevin? I was possessed. Always feeling like I wasn't good enough. Low self-esteem. Those are spirits.
Yeah.
Those are low vibrating spirits. To get that up off of me.
So he clearly admits to being possessed, but because he denies Christ, he's not a Christian. He still has that spirit, because unless Christ casts that spirit out of him or he seeks deliverance through Christ, whatever he's dealing with, he'll continue to deal with. And not only will he continue to deal with it, it will get worse. He also admits to being here for thousands and thousands of years. He admits to some weird stuff. Yeah.
You say, fast forward to the future, if I was 86 years old, well, this is gonna sound very, very crazy. I'm already like 3,000 years old right now. I just tell people I'm 33 because I don't age. Like 3,000. My mother had sex with an angel, was born in a mortal, and ain't even know it.
But I think God understands that we all are humans, and I think we're on this
I
earth.
could be honest with you.
Yeah.
I'm human like.
Speak to that a little bit more.
I mean, it's what it is. I'm human like. But I could do things that mere mortals can't do. And I'm not trying to sound like I'm better than nobody. It just means that I'm held to a greater responsibility.
Yeah.
That's why my consequences always be more severe than mere mortals.
Yeah. Yeah. I understand that. I understand that to a level. I understand for me, how I visualize it is that, you know, we're all put on earth for a greater purpose, and it's up, and time defines that purpose.
I asked to come here to this dimension. I asked.
Really?
So that I could be better than the angels.
Wow.
I asked so that I could be elevated in rank. The angels, the Al-Malika, that's really the name for them. Angels, that's just some shit that, like on the wall, white wings and all that. They don't even look like that.
I'm over 3,000 years old. I'm up in rank. I'm up in rank. I'm up in rank, you heard me? Yes, Lord. I'm up in rank.
Now, I'm a strong believer of your eyes are the window to your soul. Look in his eyes and tell me what y'all see, because I know I'm not tweaking.
For all the wonderful blessings in which you bestowed upon us in this life and in the hereafter. Ask that you forgive us for all our sins. We forget those who sin against us. Be with each and every brother and sister all over the world, all living species, those lost, found, incarcerated, those free. Anything that's uplifting to anybody today that come from me, let it be to you and from you alone. And anything that's triggers anybody or make anybody upset, let me be fully responsible for it, me and the shaitan.
I mean,
We good.
I got this.
Yo, look at his eyes. Look at his eyes, y'all. I know I'm not tweaking. Look. Lord. And you hear the people in the background saying, I got the chills? Yeah, because that's demonic. He also mentions how he fasted for 42 days a couple of times. And during his fast, he had an out-of-body experience where he was at the throne of God and was inside of a celestial court. And from that celestial court is where he gets his music.
What's the longest you fast for?
Like no food, just water,
Yep.
liquids.
Yep.
Like 42 days. I did about 3 of them.
42 days?
I hate what I'm about to say. I don't even want to
No,
say
I don't hate it. We learning. This I ain't gonna lie. This
Nah,
we learning.
it's kind of deep.
You go there, bro.
Nah, I'm okay. I'ma just say this: when you fast, you not delusional. When you fasting, things really get weird because you not seeing you seeing beyond the physical realm. You seeing into a spiritual realm. I'm talking about really seeing God. Like, I'm not talking about Jesus Christ being God. I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about when you sit with your creators. But I'm not talking about no polytheistic religion. I'm talking about one God. That's it. One God, one creator.
So when you had that experience, were you conscious? Did you feel every
Just
bit
like
of that?
it was realer than me and you sitting in this room. I ain't talking about no I did drugs and went off and had a vision. I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about from me, my body, right there
Yeah.
at the throne of God. 2 days in a row, this happened to me.
Wow.
During that time when I was fasting. First
I
time I was there, I saw it was like ambassadors from every species. That's why I don't just say all brothers and sisters and all living species, because it was like every living species. I seen things that could have killed me, crushed me, but they were scared. They had their head bowed. I never saw what they looked like. I just saw like the kind of like silhouette of it, and I was scared to death because it was new. I ain't understand it.
yeah.
And the second time I went, they had lifted up, and I sit where they were sitting. And it was like they had bestowed a responsibility on me
And what was that responsibility?
to live in my spirit and truth.
Yeah.
I'm not perfect. I make mistakes every day. And I'm going to make a bunch of new mistakes tomorrow. But that's the mission, to help people.
Yeah.
Silent workers of compassion.
What are your thoughts on, because I struggle with this, with humanity's purpose, let's say, and us, our constant need for evolution and our constant need to innovate, even like within music, you know, we keep pushing genres forward, we keep creating new sounds. Like, do you think that this
We're
is...
not creating new sounds. Everything that is once was, and everything that was is. Like people ask me, where do you get your melodies from? From the celestial court. I go into the celestial court, I sit in front of the Supreme Council, sometimes I hear something I like, because it's never words. Spoken words are primitive.
Yeah.
They speak in a language which only can be detected by the heart chakra. So if your heart not open, you'll never hear it. You'll be deaf to it.
2 Timothy chapter 3. But understand this, that in the last days there will come times of difficulty, for people will be lovers of self, lovers of money, proud, arrogant, abusive, disobedient to their parents, ungrateful, unholy, heartless, unappeasable, slanderous, without self-control, brutal, not loving good, treacherous, reckless, swollen with conceit, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God, having the appearance of godliness but denying its power. Avoid such people, for among them are those who creep into households and capture weak women, burdened with sin and led astray by various passions, always learning and never able to arrive at a knowledge of the truth. Just as Jannes and Jambres opposed Moses, so these men also oppose the truth, men corrupted in mind and disqualified regarding the faith. But they will not get very far, for their folly will be plain to all, as was that of those two men. Now we see Kevin Gates having an appearance of godliness, fasting 42 days, practicing semen retention.
I don't view sex as people view sex. It's not physical for me. It's spiritual for me. It's a connection.
Okay.
You know, I pray before I have sex. When you with God, this is spiritual unification. Like, sex is sacred to me. Come on, like, what man you meet that don't release?
Right.
That say, you know, my life force is so important to me that I don't release.
I know you practice semen retention. Can you just give me some advice on it?
This is something that I'm really, really serious about. I feel superhuman. My life force is very sacred. It's so sacred that it could create a child. My life force is what heals my central nervous system. It's what heals my brain. It's what gives me energy. It's what allows me to manifest the things that I want into my life through me practicing this art of semen retention. And I still engage in sex, but I retain. If I feel like I'm about to release, I stop. And then I might drink me some water and stretch a little bit and go back at it.
But denying its power, denying Christ, denying that Jesus Christ is God, which is the truth.
Do you believe in having to go through Jesus in order to get to Christ? You don't subscribe to those philosophies.
No, I believe in God.
Right. So
I don't believe in all that old extra shit.
There was a video with Kevin Gates when he went live with the fan. And in the video, I want you to pay close attention to what's going on.
She's so sweet.
Hey, she powerful too.
Yeah, I did magic on my brother yesterday.
Don't talk, sweetheart. It's okay. You're a silly man. I can talk to kids.
She powerful.
I know.
Cause you know we don't. That's a lot of people right there.
She's sweet to kids, I swear. I like her hair.
Hey, why you don't never just talk for yourself? Why you always talk through your familiar? You know you supposed to give them the orders. They don't supposed to give you the orders. You the controller.
In this live with this woman, he is speaking spiritually to her and she is speaking spiritually to him. They mention familiars. In European folklore, they believe that familiars were spirits or guardian spirits or spiritual guides that were used with or alongside people who practice witchcraft. According to the Oxford Language Dictionary, familiar means a demon supposedly attending and obeying a witch, often said to assume the form of an animal.
You know I got 10,000 names right now.
I know.
Yeah, at my command.
You got it, your command.
I got 10,000 angels in here with me right now at my command.
You're rude, just a little.
I sacrifice for this shit though.
I know. I will too. I said I will
Say
too.
what? It's hard. That's a hell of a journey. 42 days, no food. No food. That's a hell of a journey.
I know
I
it
had to
is.
get the smile. Felt like I was going crazy after that. Shit just got different. Everybody know what it take. Everybody ain't willing to do what it take.
That's enough.
Yes, Lord.
I get it. I do. Aw, sex a little. Take your shirt off. No, keep it off. Aw, you're cute.
That motherfucker silly. That motherfucker makes sense for 1 minute, then go back being silly.
Ugh, I know she does.
But then you see also that she speaks or refers to herself in third person. And he asks her, why do you use your familiar to speak? Why don't you supposed to give the orders?
I command you.
Ugh, you're good. Don't say command.
Why I can't? I get orders. I'm in charge.
If I'm a noodle.
I'm over 3,000 years old. I'm up in rank. I'm up in rank. I'm up in rank, you heard? Yes, Lord. I'm up in rank.
Now, you see how she tells him to take off your shirt and keep it off. And then he looks and says, I'm high in rank. I command you. And she says, don't say command.
Don't you run from me. I want your soul. Don't you run.
There's a spiritual encounter that's happening right now. And it's quite weird, to be completely honest with you. Whatever spirit is operating through Kevin Gates is of a higher ranking than the spirit that's operating through that woman. That's why he said, I command you. And she says, don't say command. Kevin Gates claimed that his mother had sex with an angel. He was born immortal and didn't even know it.
My mother had sex with an angel, was born an immortal, and didn't even know it.
So, we know that Kevin Gates practices witchcraft. We know that Kevin Gates goes into these trance-like state where he's given visions by the devil. We know that there is a demon operating inside Kevin Gates that is deceiving him into thinking and believing that Kevin Gates is an angel or an offspring of angel and human beings mixing together. Right? So basically, he's a Nephilim. According to Genesis 6, the sons of God went into the daughters of men and bore Nephilim. So By biblical definition, Kevin Gates refers to himself as a Nephilim, a mixture of fallen angel DNA and human DNA. The devil has deceived him into believing that. So we see that this man is being deceived by a spirit that is antichrist, which is a demonic spirit. He also says that he believes that people have the ability to transfer energy. Just by touching someone, you can transfer energy.
I never met somebody that started a car with their hand.
Which a lot of people starting to wake up and understand that we are powerful people, but you ever been at your house or something and been moving around with clothing and touch somebody, like, you shocked me.
Yeah, for sure.
That was the transference of what? Electricity. Our bodies are electric.
The monks say that though, how they could transfer different energies from touches.
But through the chi, through your chi, it's in your stomach.
See?
It's your chi. Through your stomach, we believe that our stomach is our first brain. It's the CPU, it's the central processing unit. It's what sends everything everywhere. A lot of our emotions are dictated by what we put in our stomach.
He said he started a car battery with his hands. I said, if I seen her eyes light up, I'm like, Jesus Christ, he could do no wrong.
Hey,
she believes everything.
Listen.
You did not start no car battery with your bare hands.
If I didn't, may God murder my children. I hate that I even spoke about that. If I didn't, may God murder my children.
No, don't say that.
Please, kill them today. Right now, today.
Kevin.
And to be honest with you, I just put my hands over the battery and prayed, Lord, please let this woman battery start.
On a physics level, that's impossible.
On a physics level, human beings emit electricity. Our bodies are electric.
Not enough to start
You
a
ever
car.
touch somebody and shock them?
Yes, I've gotten static
so
shock.
what you was doing? You was emitting electricity.
But listen, I took chemistry. That is so minuscule compared to what you need to start a car.
Okay.
So if by touching someone, you can transfer energy. If by ejaculating in a woman, you can transfer energy. Do you not think that he believes that also spitting in someone's mouth is a transferring of energy? Now, what are the spiritual implications of spitting in a woman's mouth? Right? The spiritual meaning of spitting in someone's mouth symbolizes the transfer of wisdom, knowledge, blessings, or spiritual energy from one person to another. It can represent the act of sharing profound insights, cleansing and purification, establishing trust and surrender in a spiritual mentor-disciple relationship, and even serve as a means of healing or protection against negative forces.
Most powerful magical ingredients, and one of the most underrated and never thought about, we're like, I don't ever think like that, is saliva, spit. The use of saliva in magic, the use of other bodily fluids in magic, and understanding we can do it in a both positive way, that which heals, and we can also do it in a darker aspect way, that which harms. Bodily fluids are the most strongest tag locks that we can use in magic. They are internal energy coming outward. And I want you to think about saliva, because you can have the most passionate kiss, and that energy transference is beautiful, and you can use your saliva when you're in that beautiful kissing space in a working. Think about that state of love and using it in a working. Now you can also, if you're doing a little things after midnight, saliva is really good for cursings and hexing. If you want to add some, that's where you bring up the emotions. All right, I would hope that you are working in righteous vengeance, justified vengeance. All right, you're not just arbitrarily smacking on folk. Your saliva bring up the energy that you are wanting, banishing, hexing, cursing on someone, spitting on somebody is a form of assault. If you were making up a good cursing doll, the last thing you want to do is you just want to spit on it, spit on it, spit on it.
Spitting in someone's mouth has also been associated with spiritual healing. In some Native American cultures, it is believed that spitting in someone's mouth can help cure a person of sickness or disease. The act is believed to transfer the energy of the healer to the sick person and help them recover. This is disgusting. I'm not gonna hold you. This is gross, bro. This is gross. Spitting in somebody's mouth is quite nasty. especially spitting in someone's mouth or allowing someone to spit in your mouth whom you don't even know. You don't even know this man. You don't even know this man. And you allowing him to spit in your mouth. Not only are you allowing him to spit in your mouth, you are allowing him to spit in your mouth while you are on stage in front of a large group of people, in front of a whole concert, on a stage, center stage, with people having their phones out. You are literally a spectacle on stage, and this man is spitting in your mouth, bro. Okay. In the past, spittle was generally believed to have magical properties. Early humans, seeing themselves at the center of the universe, perceived connections between their own bodies and cosmic bodies, gods and demons. They related parts of their bodies to colors, plants, elements, and directions. Spittle, blood, sperm, sweat, nails, and hair became magical substances not only as a result of this unity, but also because after leaving the body, they would retain some essence of that person. Which is true. We do know that your hair, your sweat, your blood, your semen, spit all contain your DNA. We know that because if you are trying to determine who the father is of your child, you would have the child and the prospective father spit in a tube. Norse gods making a covenant by spitting is related to the custom of becoming blood brothers. Similarly, to spit into each other's mouth is a way to pledge friendship in East Africa. So you gotta spit in a person's mouth to be their friend. Yo. Alright. Moving on. Among the Luba of present-day Zaire, a candidate being initiated into the order of sorcerers drinks a brew containing spittle from each of the elders. He becomes thereby not only blessed with their power, but also placed forever under their control. That's interesting. So we see that spit can be a form of being controlled or being under the control under someone. You know what that sounds like? That sounds like a soul tie. That's what that sounds like. Good luck can also be invoked by spitting, some believe, and the familiar custom of spitting on one's hands before starting a strenuous task, thus adding power, also reveals some lingering faith in the magic of spittle. Wow, that's wild. You know, like that is so commercialized that, you know, even on cartoons when they're about to lift up something heavy or whatever or something of the sort, they'll spit on their hands and then rub them together and then, you know, lift up whatever they're trying to lift up. Like that's wild. The role of saliva as part of healing is well known all over the world. The observation of wild animals licking their wounds added to this belief. Spittle of people fasting is widely reported to be particularly effective, and it has even been thought strong enough to kill snakes. So Kevin Gates talks about him fasting for 42 days, right? He says he fasts frequently. I think he said he fasted for 42 days multiple times. It was more than once.
So what's the longest you fast for?
Like no food, just water, liquids.
Yep.
Like 42 days. I did about 3 of them.
42 days?
And that was when he saw heaven and he claimed that heaven was scary. It was like hell. And that was a deceptive demonic encounter that deceived him into believing that heaven is a scary place, when we all know that hell is the scary place. My heart goes out to him because he's seeking something. He's broken and he's lowly and lonely and he's seeking something, but he's going about it the wrong way. So spit, now we're going back to the spit. It doesn't normally carry negative energy, but some people may use spitting in someone's mouth as a way to control them or cast some sort of spell over them. This doesn't ring true for every practice, but it's common in witchcraft to spit in someone's mouth during some sort of love spell. The transfer of saliva from one person to the other is a transfer of energy. The intentions are set by the person doing the act rather than the person receiving it. This is why it's important to perform the spiritual act of spitting in someone's mouth with only people you deeply trust. The act can also be seen as a way to transfer wisdom or spiritual knowledge to another person. Stemming from African beliefs, saliva is seen as a sacred fluid. It is a symbol of life as it lubricates our throats and mouths, allowing us the ability to speak and enjoy community. Saliva can also be used for blessings, contracts, and different rituals. The essence of saliva can be either positive or negative. This will depend on the person's intentions or the energy of the person who is using their saliva for any spiritual reason. Now, what am I saying here? Kevin Gates spitting on that woman appeared to be some type of ritual. I don't know what he was thinking, but what I know is spiritually, although he may not be aware of it, spiritually, what he just did was created a soul tie to that woman. Now, I will not be surprised if this woman ends up having dreams of this man, if this woman ends up having dreams of having sex with this man. I would not be surprised if this woman has more of a fire, zealous lust with this man, because now a soul tie has been made. God said that a man cleaves to his wife and become one in the spirit and one in the flesh, becomes one in the spirit, because spiritually you are tied to this man. How do you become spiritually tied to this person? Through the exchanging of bodily fluids, by the man entering into the woman. And God said you slept with 5 men, so you've been married 5 times. When a man enters into a woman via him penetrating her or through any type of fluid, seminal fluids, saliva, I ain't got to go into detail, but when a man enters into a woman, they become one, because it's a mixing of DNA. It's an intermingling of DNA that's going on that makes you one, that makes you bonded to that person. We know this because when we kiss somebody, I don't know about anyone else, but I can remember all the men that I've kissed, all the guys that I've kissed. And so what he did was he did a love spell on this woman. So now this woman is soul tied to this man, and you're going to need Christ to break that up off of you. So now this woman has to go through deliverance. I mean, Kevin Gates needs to go to deliverance too, but now we know whatever spirits this man was dealing with, she's now being thrust into that battlefield with him. God said, don't become one with the harlot. When you have sex, when you transfer fluid, you become one with that person. So whatever spirits they're dealing with, you're now taking that on and you're dealing with them yourself. We know that because how many men have we slept with and we end up having dreams about them? Or women we've slept with and we end up having dreams about them. That's because that's a soul tie. We've become one with that person. So whatever spirits they're dealing with, we're now dealing with. There are spiritual laws that we got to abide by and that we have to really take into consideration before we do these physical acts, especially with someone else. Also, this man, Kevin Gates, claimed that he was 3,000 years old. Like, this man, he's possessed. Like, he clearly is possessed. I'm not judging him or anything. I just said I love this. Like, hey, I rock with Kevin Gates. I ain't gonna hold you. If I knew Kevin Gates, he'll fake be the homie. Like, because I feel like we got a lot in common. Me and him. Feel like Austin Powers and Dr. Evil.
We're not so different, you and I.
We're not so different, you and I. We're not. Like, yo, I dealt with rage. I dealt with anger. I was searching. I was looking for something. I was a spiritual orphan looking for my father, looking for my spiritual parents. I went through finding them. I went finding them through the wrong means. Like, I was deeply and strongly deceived. But there's only one truth, and that's Christ. And I found my spiritual father, and that's Christ. That's Yahweh. And I pray that Kevin Gates find his spiritual father, which is Yahweh. And he touch and mends his broken heart, and he gives him peace, not peace that the world give him, but peace that passes all understanding. I pray he finds it because he needs it and he deserves it. I pray that he believes so that he can be redeemed, because we need a redeemer. Christ is our redeemer. And I pray that he's redeemed and he's saved, just like I was redeemed and saved. Cleave closely to God, y'all, because he'll cleave closely to you. I promise you. I'm a living proof of that. Draw nigh to him and he'll draw nigh to you.